What's up, everybody? My name is Chris. I'm a merchandising coordinator here at Right Stuf, but before I came to the company, I worked for over a decade at a comic and games shop, and I love board games. And we actually sell a few board games here on our website, and so we thought it'd be a great way to check out some of the options we have by playing some games for you. And so today, we're doing our first game that we're showing off, and that is a game called Tanto Cuore. It's produced by Japanime games. And it's a lot of fun, and we've got a few of my co-workers here ready to help us out, learning along with you folks how to play the game. And so if you guys want to introduce yourselves, go ahead.
I'm Andrew. I'm also a merchandise coordinator here at Right Stuf, and I am one of the main people that deals with the Japanime game stuff, so this is actually really fun for me.
My name is Liv. I'm also a merchandising coordinator, and I'm excited to play.
Hi, I'm Will. I'm a social media coordinator, and I am not well versed in the deck building game, so I'm excited to try this out.
All right, excellent. So as Will said, this is a deck building game. If any of you are familiar with board games, this has been a big craze that's been going on in the board game industry for about the past decade, where everybody starts with like a common deck that is the same per each person, and they try and build their deck by buying cards from a pool and making the best deck possible. And we have a fun little spin on it here in Tanto Cuore. The base of the game is each of the players is the master or mistress of a house, and they're trying to hire the best maid staff possible. And to do that, they will take turns using love to hire maids into their deck. Each deck starts out with 7 one-love cards, and then one card named Colette, who can do stuff later on in the game, but is worth 1 victory point at the end of the game. The idea is to get the most victory points, which I guess shows how good you are at hiring maids, somehow. It's board game logic, sometimes it just doesn't work, but it's a lot of fun anyway. And so we've got the game set up for everybody to go. The pool here, we have a whole bunch of different cards available. We have 10 standard maids that people will be buying. And they will go into their deck and they'll be able to use them during their turn. Each turn breaks down. You start out with 5 cards in your hand normally. You will then take 1 serving, which is an action on your card, to do abilities that the cards grant you. Sometimes they'll let you draw extra cards, sometimes they'll give you extra servings, sometimes they will just give you nice bonuses or aggressive things you can do to other players. Then after that, there is a hiring phase where you will use your love to hire 1 maid. And like I said, there are cards that allow you to hire more than 1 during a turn. After that, you discard those cards that you played. The cards that you acquire go straight to your discard pile. And once you empty your hand out, you draw a fresh hand of 5 cards. Then you'll reshuffle your deck if you ever need extra cards if you run out, and play continues until we run out of 2 stacks of maids. To make it fair, everybody gets the same amount of turns, so we go with the first player. Once we finish that lap on the last turn, then we will total up the points. We practice game yesterday, and Will had a rough go of it. So we decided we're going to be nice this time around. We're going to let Will start. So Will, if you want to go ahead and get things going.
I will also say Will and I have only played this once, and it was the practice round. So if we're a little bit rough, that's why.
Yeah. Liv racked up the most points. She's really sneaky good at this game.
She's a pro.
Andrew went for an aggressive angle and it kind of blew up in his face a little. And Will did a very good job of buying a lot of cards.
I learned the virtue of decluttering your deck.
Yeah, that's something we'll get into once we start the game. So, Will, if you want to kick things off with your first turn, draw 5 cards.
2, 3, 4, and 5. Oh snap!
Alright, so he's starting out with 4 love in his hand. So that gives him the option to hire a maid that is worth 4 or less. And also there are other options you can acquire, like you can also, for 4 love, buy a 2 love card, which you can use to get more buying power later on.
So I'm gonna go ahead and pick. Which one should I pick first? I'll go with Genevieve. I don't know her last name.
Genevieve d'Aubigny.
D'Aubigny?
D'Aubigny. There's a lot of French
My
names
French is
on these cards.
terrible.
A lot
Yep.
of these cards are really hard to say.
So Genevieve's ability when you acquire her, when you play her as you're serving, you get to draw an extra card, you get an extra love added to your purchasing pool, and you get one more serving. So that way you get another action during your turn instead of just the one card. It's a nice little Swiss Army knife of a card. It lets you do a lot of extra things, just enough that it's not super broken. So, great pickup.
Alright, so that's all the love I can spend on this turn, so I'm just gonna chill out.
Alright, so he's discarding his hand. Now Andrew goes ahead and starts his turn. Will's going to draw his fresh 5.
I have 3 love, and I'm going to spend 2 of it to get Viola, one of the 3 sisters.
Yep, Viola Crescent. She is one of the 3 Crescent sisters. They have a special ability on them where they have a functionality called Chambermaid. And you can pay a chambermaid price by using the number of servings it requires, and you can chamber those maids so they are out of your deck and just sitting outside of the game. In the case of the 3 sisters, they are 3 unique cards that each have their own little bonuses. One lets you buy an extra card, one lets you draw an extra card, one lets you get an extra love. But when you chamber sets of them, you get bonus victory points on top of the 1 point they're worth. If you get 2 different ones in your chamber, you get, I believe it is 4 points at the end of the game. Maybe it's 3.
2 different sisters is 3 points,
3 points.
and then all 3 sisters is 7.
Yep, and so if you make a lot of sets of sisters, you can get a lot of extra points at the end of the game. So
I've discarded, drawn my new hand, and pass.
I am going to go ahead and spend 4 love. On a Genevieve.
Yeah, same thing.
There you go.
card that Will bought. Smart strategy to open.
Alright, let's see what I got here. Got 1, 2, and 3 love. 2 Colettes. Colettes are pointless.
Early on.
Early on. Early
Colettes are a
on.
little
Don't
rough.
be mean to Colette.
Early on.
Yeah, most of the game they are useless because they don't have any abilities when you play them. However, you can chamber them, but you need 2 servings to do that. And since you only have 1 per turn normally, that's kind of a pricey number to get into. So fortunately, there are some cards that will help you get over that hill later on. And once you can declutter your deck, get things really churning.
So I'm going to go ahead and use my 3 love on Saffron.
Saffron Virginie.
The good old, awkward but pretty cool card.
Yep, she's pretty good as a serving. You can play her to get 2 love added to your pool. You can also chamber her for 1 serving, and then for each set of her, you get an additional victory point bonus. If you chamber 2 of her, you get 4 points. 3 of them is 8, and 4 of them is 12.
Yeah.
So banking a lot of her can really pay off in the end as well. But she is only on her card, not different cards spread out like the Crescent Sisters.
Yep.
I will spend 4 love for a Genevieve, the same thing that everyone else has been doing, and I will pass my turn.
This is something you see a lot in deck building games like this, where people focus on the same good card in that deck. Those get really choice, but then they start to disappear real fast. And since once 2 stacks are gone, that's the end of the game. Things might just pick up real fast if we're not careful.
So I have 3 love, but I'm only going to spend 2 of it because there's not much else I can do, I'm thinking. I'm going to buy a sister. And with that, I'm going to discard, shuffle. Again.
Alright, Will.
Okay, so I got 4 love and a Genevieve.
Nice, so you'll play that, and that means you get to draw an extra card. You get,
I get a Colette!
hey.
Hey!
Well, at least you won't draw her later.
Yeah, that's
But you get an extra love added to your pool, so that puts you up to 5.
Yeah, and I get 2 servings, but that doesn't...
You've already used 1, so
Okay.
you've only got the 1 right now. Sadly, you cannot put Colette into the chamber.
Oops. Okay.
That sounds unsettling.
Okay.
Oddly.
Well, with 4 love, I'll go ahead and get another Genevieve.
Have you noticed a pattern yet? Alright, Andrew.
I will play my Genevieve to gain a love, draw a card, and get another action. And then I will spend a 1 love from this and 4 more love to go with Tenalis Trent.
Tenalis Trent. She's pretty strong. She gets you 3 extra love to your pool during your turn and 1 extra buy. But she does come with a downside. Every other player gets to draw a card whenever you take her as your serving. So each other player ends up with a 6-card hand instead of 5, which means more buying power, more options. So you get a good jump ahead, but at a price.
And then that completes my turn. So
I'm gonna go ahead and trade in 4 love for 1 love for 2 love.
Oh, you keep the 4. You're just buying them.
Wait, what?
yeah, you keep
those
that. It's
4
not
love.
an exchange.
Oh yeah,
You're
no.
paying love.
Yeah, cut that out.
You just want to do that over again?
Yeah. I do.
Alright, take 2. Reset from buying and...
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and spend 4 love on 2 love.
There we go.
Card and draw a new hand.
Alright, take it away, Will.
Alright, I got 1, 2, 3 love, and then I also have a saffron and a colette, so that bumps me up to 5 love. So what should I get on 5? What can I buy on 5?
You got Tenalis there, like Andrew Blunt. You've also got Sainsbury Lockwood you could acquire.
Oh yeah, let me double check. Each.
Sainsbury is also a pretty good card.
Yeah.
Yep, she's pretty powerful. She has a nice effect. How she works is you can trade in a 1 love card in your hand and then replace it with either a 2 love card or any maid that is 4 or less.
Oh yeah, so I guess I'll go ahead and grab a Salisbury.
That's food,
Oh,
Will.
Salisbury.
Sainsbury.
Salisbury steak made.
Either way.
And now I'm hungry again. Will, by the way, as you can see, is reshuffling his deck. He's gone through his deck and now needs some more cards. So
Yeah.
I am going to, I believe, be the first one to Chambers. Pretty much in a different play zone. That makes for almost completely safe there. But this is a really good way of getting a lot of points later on.
yeah, Andrew's hinting at something ominous that
So-
we might get to if that shows up later.
So, and then I will spend 2 love to get Rouge, another one of the 3 sisters. I will pass the turn.
I'm going to play a Genevieve, which gets me the extra love.
And draw a
Alright,
card.
the extra card, yep.
Yeah, you're right.
And an action.
Well, that doesn't help me too much. I am also going to try not to copy Andrew, but I am going to spend the 2. First, I'm going to chamber another Crescent Sister, and then I'm going to spend 2 love. And I'm doing Viola,
Okay.
not Rouge. So not me.
It's completely different.
Totally
They
different.
do have different benefits when you actually play them as your action.
Alright, so you 2 have drawn. I have 3 love here. I'm going to spend 2 more for 5 love, and I'm going to get Amber Twilight.
Ooh, Amber Twilight is a special card here. She is a private maid. We have a stash at the end of 2 special maids that have unique costs. There's only 1 of them in the game of each card, and there's a stack of 10. Once all of the stack has been revealed, that counts as one of the stacks that goes towards ending the game. When you acquire a private maid, they are instantly put in your chamber, but they have an ongoing ability that goes throughout the game. And in Amber's case, she is not nice. How she works, at the start of each other player's discard phase, so at the end of Liv and Will's turns, they must discard the top card of their deck. And if that card is not a maid card, then they get to draw 1 less hand for their next turn.
1 less card in your hand.
Yeah.
So
So they start
instead
with 4
Yeah.
instead of 5. However, Andrew is taking a risk with them because she comes with -3 victory points. So he's going to be down some points, but it could make out, in the end, a positive effect because he's going to make everybody else hate him.
I just have to say the look in his eyes, he's out for blood.
Yeah.
The look
And
he just
so
gave me.
we will go ahead and replace Amber Twilight there. So
What would the benefit in that be?
we should explain the event cards. Those are the bad things that you can dump on somebody else. There are 2 different kinds of bad cards. The first one is Bad Habit. It costs 2 love to acquire, but instead of going into your chamber, it goes to somebody else's chamber. And it counts as -1 victory point. And should somebody acquire 4 or more of those, they count as -2 each. So you can really just unload and ruin somebody's day by just giving them a bunch of bad habits. The illness one could potentially be even worse, though. It's 4 love to acquire, and once again you put it on to somebody else, but instead of putting it just in the chamber, you target a maid with it specifically. It shuts off their abilities and cancels out their victory points. So it can turn off a private maid that's particularly annoying, or it can screw up a set of sisters or one of your saffrons to your stack. So you can really use it aggressively if you see something in somebody else's chamber that you just don't want helping them out.
I don't think
Alright folks, so that was some action of the game Tanto Cuore. If you enjoyed that, just a heads up, we do have the base game and 4 expansions available on our website. Just go to rightstuffanime.com to order your own copy if you enjoyed what you saw today.
And don't forget, we've got a YouTube channel, which you're probably watching right now. So be sure to click subscribe and like this video. We definitely have a bunch of other social media accounts. Be sure to check out our Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, and Facebook.
if you want to see us do any more Japanime games footage or do any more games or anything like that Japanime games related, please leave a comment down below. Let us know. We are more than happy to do more of this stuff. We really enjoyed it. It was a great time, so let us know.
And thanks for watching. See you guys again soon.